Welcome everyone. What's up? Happy Easter. How is everyone doing? Happy Sunday as well. Welcome to another live stream. Let's analyze the market. It's going to be a busy week next week. So the labor market is back, so expecting more volatility. It was a bit quiet this week in terms of news, as we were also expecting. There was some movements, mostly price action related, which is nice as well. So when you have this news without price action, without big data, it's actually more about PA and maybe even easier to trade, or it's all the same. All right, so welcome to the stream. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, to like as well. Feel free to share any comments. Basically, what we are going to do is to analyze the market together, try to look for opportunities for next week. So yes, we cover FX, we cover indices, we cover commodities, mostly gold and oil, and then also a little bit of crypto with Bitcoin, Ethereum. Yeah, so it's going to be also the beginning of a new quarter, new month. So I hope you guys are having a good start of the year so far, and you guys also had a good month of March. And yeah, it all goes back to zero now. It's a new month, it's a new quarter, and let's carry on in here. All right, so what are we looking for? Okay, and usually we start always with the dollar index, right? Because you know, main reason for that is because of the strong correlation that the dollar has with so many other assets and markets. That's why we always like to analyze the dollar first, because it can give us some clues as well on what we are expecting on the other assets. Yeah, so we have been bullish, right? So we have been quite bullish on the dollar, especially after we kind of come back into this level in here, after we kind of, okay, managed to break the downside. That was beginning of the month in here with the NFP. We turn around and we start going higher from this level. Then with CPI and so on, we made this move down, we went up. So we kind of predicted a little bit of all this move in here. And last week, price was somewhere in this level. Right, that's where we closed on Friday, the previous Friday, somewhere in here. And yeah, so there was two levels that we were looking for. In particular, it was actually mostly where price was at this point, because this was already taken. Like, we kind of left this level behind. If you recall, it was a level that we also were looking in here, and price kind of respected from it quite nicely. Since price had already reacted from here, then this one starts to get a bit weaker, and this was the other level that we had in mind as well in here for a potential continuation. If the dollar would break below this level, that would be a different question, a different thing that would happen, and we'll kind of start to pay attention to a potential move to the downside. But at this point, this is what we're looking for. So even if we had managed to break below this low, which happened, we were still looking for price to perhaps continue to move to the upside on the dollar. And there was a specific level as well on the pound and on the euro that we were looking for as well. It was the opposite, right? So it was a zone a little bit at the highs that we were looking for price to react from. As long as it reacts in there, we're kind of looking for a further move to the downside on the euro, dollar, and the pound dollar in here. So yes, it happened in there. So it had a little bit of a move to downside on Monday, then somewhere on Tuesday in there as well, and reacted nicely. And this is an IKM as well, all right? So in theory, price should have respected in here, which it did, but it didn't react maybe as it should. Like, we even have a break of a low in here. So this is definitely kind of a Quasimodo pattern in there, which should have respected to the downside, but it didn't. And when it doesn't, it's actually a really nice zone to look for a long, which is basically a little bit of what happened in here as well. But that level was already taken, and now this level was still the fresh one. And there you go. Since then, you start to move to the upside. And yes, I am curious to see now what's going to happen in here. Personally, I've been a bit more bullish. Again, bigger picture, we do have this engulf to the upside. Okay, we broke above the structure, and we could see price eventually getting closer to this next structure in here on the dollar, which again on the euro dollar could go the opposite. Okay, could go a bit more to the downside in there. In here at the highs, in this particular level, is there anything still relevant that I could look for in terms of looking for shorts? Okay, so price basically is reacting still underneath this level. That's where it reacted from last Thursday, and it started moving to downside. Again, this is the low at this point for me that I was paying attention to in here, and price did respected nicely the low in here. So I still don't really have any go to downside at this point. Yes, we start to get to lose a little bit of momentum, to show a little bit of compression in here, but we still haven't really managed to break a low just yet on the dollar index in here. So we may continue to move a little bit to the upside. Again, these levels are always important. We kind of had a little bit of a zone in here. Okay, and that level can also either, if you do break below that, can maybe work a little bit. Okay, you can be used as a little bit of a short, the same way that if we manage to carry on and holding pricing here, it can be used as a long instead. So that's just something to pay attention to. But yes, I would like to see price going a bit more to the upside. To be honest, I don't really like the level where price reacted. Okay, if you pay attention to this level, not the biggest fan. And I'm actually going to, I'm going to actually just use this line in here just to see exactly where actually price reacted from. So I don't really like it. I was like, actually, if by any chance, if there's anything in here, I was actually looking for price to react a little bit more in here instead of where it is right now. I understand there was maybe a little bit of a gap in there. There is all these highs in here, also this one in there. So maybe price just reacting there, but I was looking for price actually to already take basically everything in here, and if by any chance it's about to react from somewhere, it will be in here, and then the last one, it will be in here. Otherwise, just continue to move to the upside, and I need the low to be broken before I actually start turning bearish in here. Otherwise, because this is already kind of a good break of a high of a structure in there, we can eventually continue to move higher and eventually get closer to this level in here. So yes, that's a little bit of what I'm looking for. On the dollar, again, you're going to have a little bit of a busier week. Starting again, any start of the month, we always have labor market with completing on Friday with NFP. But before that, we have job openings, ADP and non-farm payroll, again, unemployment claims, and so on. Tomorrow is going to be another tricky one. Don't forget, okay, the hour has changed again for anyone that is based in the UK or Europe. The hour finally changed, so the news are back at 1:30 p.m. The US Open is back at 2:30 p.m. Okay, it's no longer at 12:30 or 1:30 p.m. So again, we are back at normal time in regards to the distance between Europe and the US. In here, in addition to that, tomorrow we still have some bank holidays in plenty of European countries as well. So we'll see how the market is going to open. Usually, if you do have almost two holidays in the same together, yeah, the kind of price slows down or almost no movement on the first one, but on the second one, which is going to be now Monday, I'm expecting already some movement, especially because again in the US there's no bank holiday, so it's going to be open the market in there. So yes, I'm expecting a little bit of a move. Maybe it's a slow move in the morning, but then to start seeing some movement in here, which can, again, is either continuation, or if you do break below this low, we start looking for a potential shift from here, or price can just also retest this level, which is still fresh. Okay, this level in here is still fresh as well, so price may have actually missed that one, but you do have now this one in here a little bit above that price left behind in here. Okay, so price can even fake out these lows by any chance, still respect from this level, and just continue to move to the upside in here. Okay, so that's still possible. In reality, this one already kind of broke that one in there. Yeah, so again, depending on how dollar index may react from here, I will be adjusting my own position in terms of expecting a further move to the upside, or potential reversal from here. Yeah, but in general, I may expect price to get closer to that level before anything. So yeah, I'm going to be curious to see it and what kind of opportunities you're going to be able to identify in here. And then Euro Index. Euro Index was actually one of those that we were also anticipating and looking for a reversal, which again helped then to look for the sales on the euro and so on, like on the euro pairs, in alignment kind of with the euro dollar moving down and the dollar moving upwards. Okay, that was a level that we were looking for price to still react. In here, you start to have price slowing down in a range in here. In this case, still respected a little bit that low, okay, and we had the fake out. And when I saw actually price respecting this this high, basically to the pip in here, that's a really strong bearish signal that is being given in here in this moment, okay, even if you don't really have maybe a proper break of wall, but price respecting this level almost to the pip, that becomes kind of a strong bearish signal. And then you finally had the break to the downside in here, and that's basically a bit of the confirmation. And that's when also we could start looking for the sales or the reversals on the euro pairs, in particular on the euro dollar. Those were just maybe two levels that were left behind, okay, maybe a little bit of this level which is still left behind, and that one at the extreme which is still left behind as well. And then all we were looking for is for price to break below these lows to confirm that it wants to go a bit more to the downside. And that's a little bit of how I'm positioning on the euro at this point, especially euro index in here. Again, euro index is not 100% just influenced by the euro dollar, okay, actually affects many of the euro pairs. Sometimes we have, for example, euro dollar maybe moving upwards, and this one is not really moving upwards as much. But yes, it's always a good clue to have, and I think we may have a little bit more of a room to the downside. I think we can get even closer a little bit towards this level first, if not even farther down. Okay, we have been anticipating, we have noticing this weakness that has been going on in here. It was still missing during all this time, a little bit of a deep retracement before maybe resuming the move to the upside. We had an attempt in here which was quite quick with the news, and price kind of since then respected that will move higher. I think we are getting in that moment to look for a deeper retracement in here. So yes, we did manage to break below that level, so that's done in there. And as I mentioned, there's maybe a few zones in here that price can still react from at this point. So yeah, that's what we have on the euro index in here. And then the yen index, all right. Yeah, this is another one which we have been looking for that reversal. Again, there are a lot of reasons to start looking for this reversal on the yen pairs. We had again the change of monetary policy from negative to positive. We have several meetings going on in Japan as well with the if not mistaken, the governor of the Bank of Japan, to try to see what to do with this new monetary policy approach that they are taking. And we start looking for those reversals. A big point that happened this week, it was finally the dollar yen to fake out the highs. Okay, we finally had dollar yen to fake out those highs from, I think, 1970 or something like that, from a long time ago, 30 years, something like that. So that can be the clue to start looking for the sales on the dollar yen, which can be the clue also for this one to happen. We'll see. There are a few levels in here that I still like. Okay, in my opinion, when we had this high in here, we actually managed to break a bit of this structure. So this for me is actually an engulf to the upside. So I'm looking for more longs in this case on the yen index. Personally, I was looking for this low to actually get closer to the demand zone, but it only managed to break below that structure, and within the gap, that's where it started to react from. Okay, it was a good reversal. This happened overnight, if not mistaken. This was a good reversal again, happening with the break of a high, then the fake out to retest this left shoulder and move to the upside. And then of course this level in here, just as I mentioned before, can be also a good level to look for the continuation in here. Okay, if price breaks above this level, it looks a good level to look for a continuation. If price is still below this level, it could as a good level to look for a short. And this is what we have at this point. So price hasn't really managed to break above this high, which I would like to happen. Okay, I would like to happen maybe to demonstrate a bit more of a bullish movement. But then, of course, I would still like to see price retracing a bit back to this level. Looking at the other yen pairs, we have, for example, euro yen. It has a really similar supply level that was left behind. We have pound yen also, that price could still go a little bit higher before maybe moving down. We have Aussie yen as well, which can be one of an amazing short opportunity for this quarter. I will demonstrate a little bit more what I'm looking for on the Aussie yen, which is finally in this good level to look for a short. Okay, again, I'll talk about it in a bit when we get to that to analyze dollar yen, but it was one of the pairs as well that we looked for this week. So yes, let's pay attention to this dollar yen. Again, it continues to be an interesting asset to look for potential reversals in here. So that's where we're going to continue to be with our bias. Okay, so yen index, if it goes higher, the individual yen pairs actually are looking for shorts in here. Okay, so that's still what we're going to be looking for. Again, the levels that we can still expect. Okay, we may have left this demand zone, may have this one that is too fresh for sure, and at the extreme of the extreme also there's a level in there that price can still react from. But as I mentioned, I would like to see if price actually starts breaking below this level, it may start showing a little bit of indication that it wants to go a little bit down, but I would love to see, even if it is just a quick move upwards, just to kind of break out these highs. That would be kind of a good engulf to the upside, especially if it is even above this structure in here. Okay, not just reacting from this level, but actually even above this structure would be nice. Yeah, we'll see. So that would be something that I would like to see on the yen index to continue to show more bullish reversals in here. The indices. All right, this is an interesting one, to be honest. This is an interesting one. Okay, so basically how the indices was quite interesting. And what I mean by that is where actually the lows reacted from. Okay, I think if you recall last week when we did the analysis, we noticed this level in here. Okay, this zone, I think this was created with the CPI or FOMC, during FOMC. Okay, so we had, FOMC meeting, we had a strong push upwards. Okay, strong push to the upside. Okay, so we broke that structure, we push up, price goes down and it moves higher, right? Which makes this level really interesting to see price reacting from. And then you are looking for price to react either at the upper edge of the level and then maybe a little bit at this demand zone, but in reality this demand zone is still fresh in here, which is quite interesting because this is actually where gold reacted from. Because this low never reacted from here and it left behind, it's still left behind on the S&P and NASDAQ, on gold as well, and gold actually already reacted from it. Okay, but the indices, the level that you're looking for is for the reaction from this upper edge in here. Okay, as you can see, this level never really touched, that's on neither. Now, the interesting part about the indices, and I'm looking, and by the indices, I'm talking about the S&P, NASDAQ, and the Dow. Okay, is both of them, like all of them have actually this exact zone, but they reacted from it in different moments. Okay, so the Dow was the first one, then it was the S&P, and only one day after, I think it was the NASDAQ. As you will see, like, and this is how you can use correlation. Okay, correlation, it doesn't need to be only based on the direction that price is going to. Okay, that's one part to use correlation 100%. If you see that there is a strong correlation or inverse correlation within an asset, perfect, you can use that information. But another aspect to use correlation is to look at the levels that are created as well, and then where actually price starts reacting from, and if one doesn't react from there, that still becomes quite attractive for the other asset to react from it in the future. Okay, so that's what you can pay attention to. For example, we start looking at this S&P. Okay, so this low was created, as you can see, on the 26th of March. Okay, and then we have this low in here, which doesn't really manage to break this low. Basically, it's already reacting from the left shoulder in here, as you can see, right? So it's already reacting from this level. Why? Again, this level finally closes this gap. This for was an engulf to downside, expecting price to go lower, and this closed the gap. It reacts from here. Okay, so then we have this left shoulder reacting from here. We have already break to the upside, indicating that price actually wants to start moving a bit higher in here. Okay, now if you now look at the NASDAQ, as you'll see, this low was created when on the 27th. Okay, and this low on NASDAQ, as you'll see, it actually goes below this low because this low on NASDAQ doesn't react from here. It still lives in the middle. And then we have finally the low reacting from here, and then you have a move to the upside. Now S&P or NASDAQ in this case is still kind of far away. Again, just instead of just talking in theory, let's actually demonstrate it. There you go. Okay, the one on the 27. This is the one on the 26. Actually, 25. This is basically 26, and this is the level that we are talking as well. The one created with the FOMC. Okay, price goes up, price goes down. As you can see, the demand is also still fresh in there, and yeah, we continue to look for shorts in here, and it finally reacted from that level. Now, big difference is that, of course, S&P already reacted all the way from the highs and eventually even took the highs. NASDAQ, it's nowhere near close there. I actually still like this level on NASDAQ. I was looking for price to go there in here. Price never really went there. It just faked out this high and it reversed straight away. Yeah, because I was looking actually for this one to go and move down. This for me was an engulf down, and I was looking for shorts. That's how I've been positioning myself this week on the indices, is trying to look for those shorts on the, especially on NASDAQ. Yeah, especially on NASDAQ. And the Dow, as you can see, Dow was actually the first one. Dow was already reacting from that level on the 25th, and then on 26 kind of as another touch. Okay, so S&P, it was on 26. Dow, it was first. Again, it's the same zone, up, down, and then up. This was again created around the FOMC. In this case, we have even more structure on the Dow with the zone on the left side in here. Okay, and then you start turning, and then meanwhile we are at the highs, and I'm expecting actually price eventually to take the highs. I think everything in here is a bit taken at this point in here. So yeah, that's just a good point to mention. Again, how can you use this? Like, it's not just on the indices. You can look at these levels as well. For example, even between Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's also quite interesting to look at. In there, you can, of course, use between euro-dollar and dollar index and many other kind of correlated assets that you can find in there. Okay, so it's not just about the direction, it's also about the levels themselves that we can look for in here. So yes, we fake out that high. In my opinion, there were two levels in here that sorry, that price could still react from. It was one in here and maybe a little bit at the extreme, even though the extreme, this looked like it was already been taken, but on a higher time frame or something like that, I think there was kind of a fresh level, which is actually where price reacted in here. It carried on respecting this level. So there's still no engulf to downside. It may happen now. We do have this fake out in here. Again, this happened, yeah, Thursday. Was Thursday? Yeah, Thursday, almost at the end of the session. So we may let's see if we don't going to have at least a new high in here being created already next week. So I can actually do it this one. This price actually reacted from it. So we're looking for the sales initially when you saw this low in here that basically broke that structure, and you wanted to see this gap being filled, and yeah, it happened just like that. Now it's just kind of wait and see. We may have this level in here as well, and yeah, we have maybe a little bit more of a new high being created in there, or a new fake out before a move down in here. NASDAQ, as I mentioned, I still like the highs. Okay, I still like this level at the highs in here. I think price may have left a zone in there. It even left a zone in here as well. Okay, they didn't even reacted this high in here. So there's maybe one in here and another one in there where NASDAQ can still go towards to. Of course, maybe it's going to continue to respect the supply, maybe create new lows, and only leave this level who knows when. In here in general, something that we have seen already is starting to break these lows as well. So we start to see a little bit of weakness and breaks of the lows, which eventually can help for the big reversal in here. This is something that we want to pay attention before even considering looking for any big reversal in here. Okay, we want to start seeing lows being broken on the way up, which eventually can help to have that bigger target. But again, we are still at all-time highs. It's still quite bullish, everything, so just cautious with that one. But it starts to be quite interesting for that potential turn in here on the NAS. So yeah, let's see how price eventually is going to react from it. Again, anywhere somewhere in here I'm going to be paying attention to, unless price is reacting from a really good level and price is already kind of on the way up. That's a different story. If price is still where it is, I will indeed look for some shorts in there, unless I don't have any PA in there, and then price will just carry on going higher, and then I'll continue to look for the next sell in there. In here, yeah, same thing. I'm expecting price eventually, I'll make it look like it respects a double top in here. It starts moving lower. We have this level. Price can bounce from it a little bit, and then it finally takes a little bit of that zone and can go a bit more to the downside in here. So yeah, we'll see. We can delete this one as well. Doesn't really matter anymore. That was the beginning of a turn. So we had this break of a high. So that's when you start looking for some weakness, and then price just did what it did in here. And then yeah, DAX. I've been entertained with DAX in this battle of looking for shorts. Again, sometimes yeah, sometimes that's what I do. And again, just follow what I mentioned in the previous webinar, in the previous live stream. I think it was 2 weeks ago when I did a little bit of a session about how do I trade all-time highs and the cautious with that. Again, just cautious with the targets that you are looking for. But I started to see a little bit of weakness on the DAX. I like the compression. At this point, it's still expecting maybe new highs. We do have a little bit of a break of this low, and we have a lot of compression. And what I've been looking for is eventually for the turn in here, maybe to fill this price in there, which can even go maybe below that, and then just resume to move to the upside, which is totally possible. But at this point, I don't like this level. Maybe this week we're going to have that turn, which can be quite aggressive. Sometimes that happens. It's basically maybe similar move like this or something like that I'll be trying to look for. But be cautious, okay? Actually, wait a lot for the weakness before looking for a reversal. But I am tracking this breaks of lows, which starts opening the door for price to get to the next level in here. So yeah, that's on the DAX what I've been trying to look for in here. Right. Yeah, guys, if you do have any levels that you are looking for, feel free to share any pairs as well. If you want me to analyze anything in particular, feel free to ask as well. So again, this is a way for us to do it together and to discuss some levels for next week in here. Looking at the individual currency pairs after we analyze the indices. Yeah, let's take a look at them. Let's take a look at them. Okay, so this was the euro dollar. Okay, this was basically the bias. Okay, so we had that move down. Yes, we were kind of reacting a little bit from a demand zone. This for me was not exactly the last destination that I was expecting euro to go towards to. I think we were a little bit in the middle of the zone, and at this point, after this deep retracement, I was expecting the euro eventually to continue to move to the downside. And that's a little bit of what we had. Okay, so we carry on moving to the downside. Again, the extreme that we were looking for, what am I doing? The extreme that we were looking for, it was the supply level. That was the level that we looked for continuation in here. And price reacted from it really, really nicely. There's actually a really good level in there on the world time frame. Is it in here or it was on the dollar I think it was on the pound. Yeah, that level is quite good. Yeah, but on the pound as well, it was really, yeah, it was this one. Yep, this level, it was in here on the euro. Yeah, so that was the level that we were looking for the euro to reverse. It took a while, okay, so it had this compression on the way up and then it just resumed. This is the other pattern that we look for, but for the continuation in here. Okay, so we had this one, but this one worked as a continuation where it had kind of starting to break lows. We had fake out in alignment with this level. We have the continuation, and then underneath this level, basically look for a potential other level in there to look for more sales. What happened in here as well? Actually, on the pound, when pound created this high, it kind of left still a really interesting level in here for price to react from, and we actually had a little bit of a deep retracement on the pound during this week, opposite to the euro, where just carry on staying underneath these levels in here. On the pound, we actually had a little bit of a deep retracement and then a continuation a bit more to the downside. Not so bearish like the euro, but at this point, just similar to similar to dollar index. Even though the euro kind of reacted a bit from this moment, I think we can go a bit more to the downside, even maybe fake out these lows, maybe react from this level in here. If not from there, then you are looking for price to go all the way until there and maybe even fake out these lows and start getting closer to this level in here. But yes, just looking at it at this point, this looks like a nice interesting zone for the euro to react from. What we still don't have on the euro, that is, one second. Come on. Yeah, that's something that I actually mentioned, is that we haven't really had a break of a high here, right? We kind of carry on. Okay, we kind of keep respecting the levels, and we haven't really had a break of a high at this point. Maybe this is the one that I'm looking for in here. So there's not even a break of structure in here. We have this small manipulation, but that's just a manipulation. Price respected is extreme. So until we maybe have a little bit of that happening, not really reasonable to completely start flipping bullish in here. Yeah, maybe just a retracement before price just resumes the move down and keeps pushing lower until getting closer to these extremes in here. So yeah, that's a little bit more on the euro, what we are looking for in here. And yep, and we'll see how price may react from here. We did manage to break already below this low, so yeah, is there anything in here at the bottom that you can see? There's maybe still a fresh level in there, but aside from that, I want to see, yeah, if by any chance I'm looking for any longs in here, I want to see price demonstrating or showing us that reversal PA before looking for that in here. So yeah, we may react a little bit from that level, might continue to move lower a little bit more, pushing a bit more to downside. There's maybe that level, and then price can continue to move a bit lower. And we still have, yes, we still have this zone in here. This high never reacted from it, so that's another level in there at the highs that maybe euro can still react from, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Again, the turn was quite nice in here. And then we have the pound, as I mentioned. It didn't really create as much bearish move in here. It still reacted from that zone. By any chance, like, the pound is actually reacting from one of the extremes in here. That's basically the lows that created this move to the upside, and that's basically the last fresh demand zone underneath this level. Everything is compressed, and I'm expecting then price to break below that if you do actually manage to go below this level in here. So if I cut that level, we didn't even haven't reacted from this zone, so there's a little bit of a gap still below this low and the level itself, which can be interesting, maybe can still be used if the pound actually wants to start going higher. But as I mentioned, it kept prospecting still this high in here, which was that zone on the euro as well that we looked for. This was the other zone that I mentioned that price, that the pound kind of left behind. Price already reacted from it in here, and we are within this range. So we'll see. Even this low in here kind of reacted from the extreme of that level. Yeah, personally, I think you could challenge a bit more these lows, maybe even go below that. Is this high the last destination in here? I'm not sure. I still kind of would prefer to see even pound going closer to that zone in there. So we'll see around this level. If you do break below that level, below this low in particular, I think we go all the way through, and I think we even take these lows as well, and you start looking then for whatever levels are next in here to look for a potential reaction from. Again, we need to analyze then the zones in here to see where are the fresh levels in there. Yeah, so we are within this range. We'll see. If you do break above this high, then start opening doors a bit more to the upside. We do have this zone in here that price can maybe bounce from, and you see what happens afterwards as well. But yeah, as long as keep respecting this level, then we can, yeah, we could go higher in here. So let's see which direction actually the pound is going to break to or react from next week. Euro pound is just back into the same structure after reacting from here. Okay, so it manipulated that level, created that range in here. Again, we'll see. Not the biggest fan of this one. I haven't really spent much time looking for it after noticing how much compression Euro pound was creating. Again, bigger picture, whenever you break these lows and if you get closer to this level, can be quite interesting in here. That's something to look at. Maybe there's even a continuation setup to downside from here. Price kind of respects this level. Maybe can push a bit more to the downside. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen in this one. not really my favorite to look for at this point. Aussie dollar. Okay, yes, we were bearish on the Aussie dollar, still expecting price to move lower. In here, didn't really like these lows, so I think Aussie dollar wanted to go a bit more to the downside. Not even the biggest fan of this one. I think this level in here has been already reacted or had this importance. I think we could continue to move a bit more to the downside in here. Yeah, we'll see. Right, and as you start breaking to the upside, then we have a move in there. But in general, again, we did manage to break below this level as well, or this low, so it could see a little bit more of a continuation to the downside on the Aussie dollar. But we'll see. Keep open-minded. This level in here, if it's broken to the upside, maybe there's a shift in here, depending also where from we're going to have that high being taken in here. So that's just something to keep an eye on as well. In there, Euro Aussie, not really much going on in here. In my opinion, this is still kind of an engulf down, but price can go many places before even following that engulf down, and the way price moves is not really that attractive in there. And then you have Pound Aussie as well, which again made an attempt to move lower. I've been looking for price to go slightly higher in there, so we made that move down. Now it's compressing quite a lot, already reacted from that zone, but maybe there's still a bit more room to the upside before maybe moving lower, or at least towards there. We'll see. At this point, kept respecting these important lows. If you do break below that, yeah, at this point maybe below even this one, yeah, it can be quite interesting if that happens, but not exactly the major level in there. And this is Aussie yen, and that's a different one. Okay, so yeah, this is a little bit of a potential idea that we could have on the bigger picture, which can take a couple of months or even the full quarter to play out and eventually fill all this range in here. And the reason I'm looking for that, right, again, if by any chance you have been looking or watching some of these my streams, we noticed that for many months I was basically skipping just the same thing I did with Euros in Pound Aussie, for example, Euro Pound. That price doesn't really matter too much to me. Where it is, I was just skipping. It would take me 5 seconds to look at it and move on. That's what I was doing during all this period in here on the Aussie yen. Okay, so basically back in December, November, and stuff like that, even in January, I was just skipping Aussie yen because all I wanted was for price to go above this structure in here. Okay, and that's what I was looking for. And after that, yes, after that I would start being interested in looking for a trade on the Aussie yen. So basically to break above all this structure, I did like the compression, and it looks like price was attracted to go more to the upside before maybe actually moving down. There was enough liquidity, enough highs in there, and there was a clear level in here that price could go towards to. So yes, in February, end of February, started to look for those big initial shorts, which started with this high in here. Again, price reacting from a really good level. It was a demand zone that was not reacted from all the way down, and then it was reacted in here and start breaking another low in here. We still respected a bit of this compression, okay, but created another strong compression, broke an important level in there, which starts opening the door eventually. If you do break below that level, there's a chance that price can almost fill everything in here. Of course, not just in a straight line, right? Price will continue to zigzag in here, but it starts opening and creating that higher probability that price can actually fill all of this and even go below this level into here. This will can actually be a quite interesting target. Now, where is price reacting from? Right, at this point, the high is reacting from that level in there. Okay, so it's a really good level. Price can even go a little bit higher around here, whatever, but it's already a really good level where Aussie yen is reacting from. Okay, we have enough structure, we have enough liquidity with all these highs to create. It's a really strong move to the upside which is exactly what you like to see. So strong move to scare everyone to think that if this one is going to go to the moon, and then have a quick rejection to the downside. Now this is the level that I'm looking for at this point, okay? And price basically just reacted a little bit from the upper edge in here, but this is the low a little bit, in particular then this one as well. Again, this one is already a break of this low on the left, which was created just before this strong move upwards. So this already starts to show as well weakness, a little bit of a bearish potential reversal in here. Now another interesting aspect that is in here, okay, on the Aussie yen, is that from the highs we actually have two interesting levels to look for. Okay, we have this level and we have still this level in here that is fresh and it was left behind in here. Okay, we have actually this highs eventually could be faked out and price can move over from there, and eventually can even have the extreme in here for a potential move lower. Okay, that's just for the future at this point in here. Okay, so that's good. When you have levels left behind, that's a good point, because it creates a bit more strength for a potential reversal, or kind of it validates a bit more the idea of potential reversal, because if price has already spiked from all of these levels, then whenever price retraces, there's not really any left orders left behind, sorry, and price eventually could just continue to rally until we eventually fake out the high. But as long as there's still orders left behind, that's a good point in here. What else we have? Like we have, as I mentioned before, we may have that potential reversal to the upside on the yen index, right? So if the yen index actually is ready to potentially reverse to the upside with, again, all these change of monetary policy in Japan from negative interest rate to positive, that can eventually also help the yen pairs to actually turn in here as well, which could be another catalyst for this Aussie yen to move lower in here. Okay, and if by chance the Aussie is also kind of bearish, that will be even another factor to look for another move to the downside in here. Okay, we'll see how the Aussie is going to play out, but this can be actually a great interesting level. Again, we do have all this compression to eventually go and fill. We're talking about a potential almost 500-600 pips in here towards at least this level, with the potential to even go below that, because this low is actually already a break below these lows as well. So in the bigger picture, this can even be even an engulf down, and eventually price can actually go towards that zone in there. Okay, so again, this looks quite nice. It's a way that we're going to be looking for and approaching, and this can last a month, can last 3 months, we'll see. Right, for example, if we measure from here, this is basically end of July, August, all the way until basically February, March, right? So we're talking about what, 5 months, 5-6 months from here to there. So can be kind of similar. It can be quicker because a lot of this is compressed. Okay, price move to the upside in compression, so it can be quicker to move to the downside. But it's not going to happen only in a week, right? It's going to take its own time to look for. And there are different ways that you can approach that zone and to look for opportunities in here. So that's just Aussie yen, one of the good potential opportunities in here to look for during this second quarter. Yeah, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about it. And if by any chance you also look at potential setups like this so far ahead, like identifying potential really big opportunities. Again, this takes a lot of time to develop. It's a combination of several factors as I described. I described quite a few of them. Again, then we need confirmation from price to actually validate our own bias along the way. Right? I'm not going to just completely and blindly turn bearish in here. I want to continue to see price validating my ideas, for example, breaking below this low. Okay, kind of living, noticing, for example, if the way price may approach in here may compress a little bit. If this is in a compression way, starts breaking lows, then kind of confirms again that maybe I'd like to see price moving lower in there, and so on and so forth. Yeah, this is just a future potential reference rectangle in there. All right, so dollar yen, this is the other one, right? So we have been waiting for this, like we have been waiting for this high to happen, which finally takes the highs from here. Okay, so that's done in this particular case. and it's going to be interesting. Like, again, we started to break fight with a few level in here. We had this strong compression. At this point, price is still kind of respecting this. We start to create this range, which is also interesting. And maybe definitely do to have still this supply left behind in here, which can be a zone that price can maybe react and push lower and eventually fill out this range. Okay, at least we have now the fake out. Even above this level, can price still go a little bit into that zone? I think maybe there's a little bit of a zone that was left behind in there. Otherwise, can just maybe react from there and move forward. So we are getting closer. Again, depending on what the dollar is going to do. If we continue to see a little bit of a strong dollar, which a bit of what we saw this week, we have the yen kind of just ranging because we had kind of the yen index also strong. And if in theory, if the yen index is going higher, we kind of would see this one moving lower. And maybe that's what the yen index has been waiting for. Okay, it's been waiting maybe for the dollar yen actually to be in alignment, to finally go and move forward, which can push the yen index to the upside or the opposite. Okay, again, this situation where the dollar yen continues to increase is going to create a lot of pressure for the Bank of Japan. Okay, they don't want the yen to be so weak, to be such a big difference between or kind of like in this case to increase in comparison to the dollar. That's going to not help with their economy. So again, even fundamentally, there's pressures in here for this one to start getting a bit weaker in here. Okay, so again, do we have this level? If you do want to fake out one more time, we totally can until we finally see some kind of good PI to look for a short in here. That's basically what I'll be looking for on the dollar yen. This is euro yen, which we also continue to look for a move down. Again, what's another big factor on the euro yen, similar to the pound yen and similar to the Aussie yen, is that euro yen is also reacting from a valid level in here. Okay, so it's reacting from the lower edge of this level. That's a really good level. The previous high, this one, it reacted just somewhere in here. We mentioned several times there's a chance that that high can still be faked out for price to get closer to this level. And then of course we have maybe the extreme of the extreme, which is a bit closer where actually pound yen is reacting from. But for now, euro yen is reacting from the lower edge of this zone, which is a good level for price to bounce from, and it's reacting in here. And on the other side, we can continue maybe to see a bit more of a down move in here. Price, as I mentioned, quite similar to the yen index. The yen index was a demand zone that was left behind. Dollar yen was basically the supply, because these highs didn't really react from it. It kind of left that level behind. Then maybe have a little bit of that extreme as well. So if by any chance this one wants to retrace in here, you can even just use that zone, maybe not so deep, use that level to move to the downside or to continue to move lower in here. Okay, and we also kind of have a little bit of breakout below this low. So it's another yen pair, and in this case in regards to the euro as well, if by any chance, again, euro index, which we just looked at, it wants to move lower, that can also support to move to the downside on the euro yen. And if by any chance yen index wants to move higher, then can make it even have a better short in here on the euro yen. And again, it's just something to keep an eye on and try to look for the best or highest probability setups in the market. So yes, euro yen again can retest a little bit. Now it's in the middle. Okay, it's in the middle, it is what it is, and maybe looking for price to get maybe closer to this level before starting to turn a little bit in here. Yep, or we have that level, or that level, or somewhere in there. Yeah, but that's another yen pair which is moving quite nicely. Then you have pound yen. Okay, pound yen, which actually was a great interaction with another trader this week when you were looking at pound yen, in particular this level. Okay, actually may share that session with you guys, because it was quite interesting to see the mindset and the psychology tricks that market plays with us when you have a little bit of this range playing on in here. Okay, and you're basically looking at two type of traders in this situation. Okay, a trader that had a sell from somewhere at the highs, it was actually the case of the trader, and the theoretical scenario where we have a potential trader that is looking for a buys in here at this demand zone. And how can actually look at this PA in here, this range that usually just pauses above the level that you want to look for long, or maybe where you have your target, and how can you actually react to it. And this is usually that moment where you start having either some FOMO or start being greedy or whatsoever in here. It's actually quite interesting. So yes, that's a little bit more of the target that we're still looking for on the pound yen, at least, if not even below that. We start reversing a little bit, but in general, that's still a little bit of the final destination that we are looking for in here. And at the highs, there's maybe still something in there as well that we can look for in there. In here, at the extreme, this is basically what I mentioned on the pound yen. We actually are also reacting from an interesting level, okay? And from here, we may have a little bit of a correction. We may even challenge to go from here. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, or if we do break above this level, then we may even have, or even go all the way and take this high as well, okay? Then you may go all the way below these lows and you may react from here and maybe go higher in there. Okay, just something to keep in mind. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those two scenarios happen in here. So yep, so we'll see. It's going to be interesting, but at least until this level, at least is the target I'm looking for on the pound yen in there. And then dollar CAD, let me just look at pound yen, CAD yen as well, because it's started to provide quite interesting. What is CAD yen here? Okay, so CAD yen is another one, even though this one is basically the only yen pair it's not really at a good level. I could see going even higher, somewhere in here or even somewhere in there. Okay, we can have that zone type of a move, kind of compressing a little bit. We may have opportunities to either look for longs or shorts, but I'm expecting price eventually to go a bit more to the upside. In here, we did manage to break slightly below this low and then kind of respect it. Just curious to see how price may react from this level in here as well. But again, bigger picture, we may still continue to go higher, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But it's worth to pay attention to it. Start having a little bit of a breaks in here, so it can be one to keep an eye on at this point. But bear in mind, again, we may have new highs being created. I don't really think that the high has still reacted from the final target on the left side in here, which takes us into a dollar CAD. Again, dollar CAD just keeps trading within this range. I haven't really been focused that much on dollar CAD at this point. I want to see price moving away from this range, and then I'll be tracking and looking for new opportunities at this point from here. Even though there are plenty of good opportunities on a daily level, intraday, we have, for example, we had this break of a low, so we're looking for price to go lower, but in general, it's not exactly what I'm looking for, kind of be involved with at this point. I want to see price moving away from here, and whenever the next structure is created, then I'll be looking for something. So at this point, again, it can go higher, can even maybe go there, something in here, or if by any chance it starts breaking below that level, it can go somewhere in there. So yeah, that's basically what we have. Euro CAD finally moved to downside. Okay, so we finally managed to break below this level. It's another one that was in the range for quite a while, and we finally managed to break below it. Maybe we can retest it and even challenge a bit more something in here. So yeah, who knows? We'll see on the Euro CAD and pound CAD as well. That's an interesting one, kind of bearish in here. Yes, I was looking for price to go a bit more to the upside in here. It kind of paused a bit in the middle. Yeah, maybe reacted a bit from the structure. I'm looking for price to get a bit there. In my opinion, this low is not exactly the final destination. I'm still expecting this pound CAD, sorry, to continue to move to the downside in here. So yep, that's what I'll be looking for at this point. But yeah, price kind of missed a little bit at level, and then you have also the extreme in here. But this was a good one, a good opportunity of a clear target as well without this compression. Price may get closer to that level, or eventually take below this low, get somewhere in here, and it can even continue, to be honest, and take everything in here and get closer to that zone. But now it's in the middle as well, so when it's in the middle, it can create a bit of a range in here until it creates momentum, or if by any chance still wants to go even higher in here and react from there, it can, and that would be quite interesting as well if that would happen in here. So yeah, so that's pound CAD, and yeah, let's finish the video with the card pairs. Dollar franc Swiss, this was one of the pairs of the week for us. Okay, at least for the last 2 trading sessions, and I mean Wednesday and Thursday. So we saw the momentum, price has been moving higher, it respects a little bit this level, and it starts getting closer to this zone in here. Okay, but what stand out was it was a little bit of this PI that we started to pay attention to. Okay, this compression in here, we kind of have a little bit of a break of a low in there, so we look for this compression, a little bit of a target, potential target in there, and then you start noticing this PI in here. Okay, and that's when you started to look for a potential reversal when you created this range. Okay, from this move up, down, we didn't really manage to break the low just yet in there, but then we created the pattern in here as we started to see the reversal in this scenario in here. Okay, so just give me a second. Yeah, okay, so that was a little bit of what we were looking for on the yeah, it was in there. So yeah, we're looking somewhere in here. We start breaking a little bit of the structure, we have the fake out, and we have the supply behind. We start breaking below this level. Okay, so we got into this compression, target at this point is this low, we fake out that level, that was zone 1 to look for a short, we confirm, then another break, and you go. And then decision point, would we respect it or would we break it? We broke it. Okay, we broke it, and then what happens in here is that we have this level, it never really reacted from here, now we have this left shoulder, and that's basically the new opportunities to look for a short are within this level. Again, this high already reacted from the supply, and you have everything in here to look for. We start breaking those, open spice towards there, we continue, no those being broken, and yeah, a few of the guys actually managed to catch this trade in here as well. After the break of trend line, we get this momentum, then you have this one in here, could have been another good entry after the break. Again, we're looking for price to bounce between these 2 levels in here as a short or then as a long. This case, it was as a short, as price confirms that is moving lower, and there we are, right? So this was basically 2 days of PA, and in general, what also was in our mind, like, it was the target, like we're looking for price to get closer to this level in here. Something interesting about this dollar franc Swiss, like, is that dollar franc Swiss, especially since last week when it had the interest rate decision, and it was the first central banker to start cutting rates, if not mistaken, from 175 to 150. It got a little bit separated from the dollar index in terms of correlation. Okay, sometimes we see the dollar moving higher and you don't really see that happening on the dollar franc Swiss, or the opposite, dollar starting to moving lower and maybe have a little bit of a move upwards on the dollar franc Swiss. Okay, so that was a little bit of what was noticed in here. For example, we start having this move to downside when actually the dollar index was moving higher in that moment, until finally kind of moved a little bit in here. Yeah, which was interesting. Again, personally, I think this pair still wants to go there. Maybe just attention to here, by any chance price fakes out something in here, but we have a target that you are looking for, and if you start breaking below that, we can even have a bigger target in here as well. Okay, again, bigger picture, is this the final level? Maybe not. Maybe eventually this dollar franc Swiss wants to go even a bit more to the upside, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But on the lower time frame, more intraday, that was a really high probability setup to look for. You start having all the confirmations that you can expect for in here. That's exactly what we looked for on the dollar franc Swiss in here. So we'll see how price may react from that zone in there. Then gold, which just skyrockets and goes to the moon. Okay, so this is what I mentioned on gold in regards of comparison with the indices of the level of the demand zone created during the FOMC. Okay, that was the movement in here. Okay, so this was FOMC on the 20th of March. Okay, we have the demand zone. Okay, we have that level. 1 second. Let's just be precise in here. Stay there. Okay, so we have that level, which in this particular case we kind of have this kind of that touches it opposite to the indices, where prices just continue to move higher without really reacting from it. But we have behind this demand zone, okay, which is basically where gold end up reacting from in here, okay, from that demand zone, and then start turning, and it kept respecting every single low as it was going. Okay, so it respected that level as well. It kept going. This level can be quite interesting for the future, but it just kept going, and now we are in here. Okay, so again, we'll see where gold is going to go towards to, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. Just keep an eye on it and keep following it. Be careful with any shorts. Again, the way price tends to move down is a bit quite aggressive. It's quite different a little bit from the indices or yeah, most of the indices. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen on gold, but so far is bullish, and looking for big reversals. It will be not reasonable at this point until price tells us otherwise. Yeah, can continue in here, can continue in there, and can continue even somewhere in here or eventually in there. So we'll see zone by zone on gold if anyone is interested in trading it. Then we have oil, which kept respecting this level. Okay, so we have 2-3 levels in here. It was one of them in there, another one in there, and then another one in there, and then the extreme of the extreme in here. And price just kept respecting the first one, and you are about to break the highs again. You are still bullish. In our opinion, this high hasn't really reached the final destination, which is at least above this level. I think this level in here is just a small reaction, and eventually price wants to go higher, which can even continue to go even higher from there. Okay, doesn't really mean that price will just stop where it is right now. Okay, so that's just something to bear in mind. And yeah, maybe continuation to the upside. Again, the way oil has been moving is in this type of compression in here, and that may continue. Okay, that may continue until we have a little bit of a deep retracement, and maybe we can finally get closer to that zone in here. But at this point, looking for oil to break the highs and break that small structure on the left, and then we may have a turn in here. So that's just something to keep an eye on in here. What else? What else do we have in here? Any pairs, guys, that you are looking? Yeah, crypto is the same at this point. So it reacted from that demand zone, which is again similar to the correlation that I mentioned. Ethereum, Bitcoin, for example, crypto total market did created this demand zone. Ethereum and crypto total market already reacted from it. Bitcoin hasn't really reacted from it, which eventually can be an interesting zone for price to bounce from. Okay, so as you can see, Ethereum already reacted. That was a target you're looking for on Ethereum in here. Right? Okay, when price broke that level, we're looking for price to fill this price and then eventually continue to go higher. Yep, still expecting eventually Ethereum to move higher, a bit maybe similar to BTC, even though Ethereum actually managed to break slightly this level. Yeah, we'll see how Ethereum may react from this zone in here. So never really managed to break below this demand zone, so didn't really open the space to go down. Even though we didn't manage to go below that low, but the demand zone we haven't broken. So we'll see how price may react from this zone in here. BTC again reacted perfectly from that zone. Is still left behind this level. It can go a bit higher. It can definitely go a bit higher. It can even go maybe closer to that zone. But eventually, personally, I'm expecting price to, or Bitcoin to break the highs again. This low respected the structure, didn't really manage to break below it, so eventually to continue to see it going higher, right? And it's going to be again an interesting month for Bitcoin. Yeah, it's the halving, so we'll see what kind of movement, and if we finally manage to gain momentum again to break new highs in here, or going to have a deep retracement first before another big rally to the upside in here. Yeah, so a bit similar to Ethereum. Again, Ethereum is still quite far away from the highs, which gets a bit more of that level. And yeah, Solana left this level behind. Also the demand zone at this point. I don't like this level. I would like to see someone actually retesting a bit closer to this level before a potential long in there. So that's a zone just that is left behind. Price is reacting now from the supply at the highs. Yeah, so we'll see if price by any chance wants to go lower. It can. We are basically at one of the last levels that there are still fresh orders in here before maybe Solana also take the highs, which may happen. And I'm looking for that to happen, to be honest. Yeah, so we'll see. But within this level, price could be bouncing between this full range before moving to the upside in here. So it's just yeah, it's one to keep an eye on, and we'll see what's going to happen in here as well. If we have this about top in there, maybe there's a little bit of reaction from that zone. Yeah, the base is already reacted from. Yeah. Ethereum, BTC. Yep. And that's basically it. That's basically it for this week, guys. Again, just to summarize, the dollar chance to continue to move higher, and the way it's going to react from this highs, that's going to basically create a bias for the rest of the week. Either we break to the upside and open space to go even higher, further up, which eventually we'll see where we are by Friday around the NFP, and that can lead into a new reversal. Again, something relevant about the news, right? If you haven't realized yet, or if you are a bit new to this, is the market tends to pay attention to okay, maybe let me say something different. There's usually a catalyst that the market is paying attention to in different phases. Like again, back in 2022, it was a lot of CPI inflation. Okay, last year it starts to go back a bit into non-farm payroll and NFP, which was again one of the biggest catalysts as well a few years ago in there. And this year it starts to be a little bit actually mixed a bit between CPI and the NFP. Okay, and what I mean by that is if you actually pay attention to where these reversals are happening, for example, this one, okay, basically this low was created in the last NFP, okay, and there was a shift in there, and this actually created the low for the month of March, and since then is being just rallying. Okay, you can also maybe pay attention when actually this high was created. It's actually kind of around the CPI. Okay, 13th of February, it's basically CPI, and then price starts turning in here. We can also pay attention to this one. This was NFP, 2nd of February, if I'm not mistaken. It sounds like NFP to me. Yeah, it was Friday. 2nd of February, we have a move to the upside. Okay, basically it's another moment where we have a big shift around that time. Okay, so this one, yeah, this was Christmas, whatever. But yeah, so that's something to bear in mind, right? To see the importance of the news, what the market actually is paying attention to, that can create a new cycle in the market. And NFP is one of those news in the moment, what the market is paying attention to in here. Okay, why NFP or why the labor market? Again, because it's still one of the main factors that the Fed is paying attention to that can accelerate or delay the beginning of the rate cuts. Again, at this point, predicted to be in June, but that could be one of the factors that could accelerate or not. Like if by any chance the unemployment would increase unexpected, and then maybe the next month as well in May it will do the same. Maybe by May, I think that's going to be the next meeting. When is the next meeting? Just 1st of May. Yeah, forget about it. 1st of May, just one data. Don't really have two datas in here. Okay, yeah, so forget about it. Most likely that's not going to be a chance for the Fed to change their mind in May, and more towards June. In there, right? But that again, that will be one of those catalysts that could affect, and that the market's going to pay attention to. Hey, Saraf, welcome, man. Did you just join now, or? And yeah, so in terms of news, that's something also to pay attention to, and that's where the fundamentals actually can play a big role in here. At least that's the way I look at it. Okay, I'm not just paying attention to when the news are coming. Again, that's important. Pay attention to potential increase of volatility around that period, but start trying to be informed. First and foremost, what the news are about, and secondly, how actually the market is reacting to it. Does it even care or doesn't care? Does it care or doesn't care at all? Right? And again, just looking at where the shifts are happening, that can be a big clue. All right, man. Yeah, I'm basically finishing. It was a quick one today. It's yeah, it's Easter, so it was again, I wanted to be consistent with the streams. I'm going to start sharing more content. Now that I've finally finished with the journal, I'm going to be able to start dedicating more time to actually upload more content on social media. And yeah, I'm quite happy with the journal. I'm going to also make and share more content about it as well. Yeah, which is hopefully can also help you guys to improve your own trading. Yep, that can be quite interesting. All right, so yeah, I was actually finishing. All right, man. Yeah, that's nice. Ask any questions, like if you do have any, ask any questions. But yeah, like basically this is how the journal looks like at this point. In here, this is where we're going to be opening trades, kind of more on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, can actually have this one in here. So this is where we're going to be adding trades or analysis that you are looking for. And this is where we're going to be able to review a bit more of your trading session. But this one, trading process, this is one that I'm really curious about. Again, this is just some fake trades. I'm going to add a few just to show or demonstrate in here. Nah, man, this is not still. This requires, but it's quite quick. But it's not integrated. But I'm trying to do it in a quick way to be easy to add. By adding these hotkeys, basically these buttons, you can customize a lot of what usually is included in the trades that you are taking. Right? Because one of the main points, like if I add a trade in here, this is where this is what matters in here. Is this phase where you're going to have 7 different parts of your trading that I want you to grade between a +1 or a -1. So that's something to be aware of. Again, in terms of outcome, this is quite quick, and this is more just for the missed trades if you do miss any. Okay, again, just share a picture in there. You have your asset, you have the days. Yeah, but it's quite quick. Like it may take you. Again, if you are a scalper, maybe it's not the best journal for you, but if you are opening, I know, 3 or 4 trades per day, 5 trades, that can be quite quick in here to look for. Just add your picture and you can go with it. Because by tracking this part, this is when then you can start analyzing where is your strength or weakness in your trading at this point in here, which is going to be demonstrated around this level. In addition to that, of course, you have your journal. Okay, so you have your journals in here, which is where you're going to be able to track or to write down some notes about everything that you are doing in here. This is a daily, weekly, monthly, quarter, and yearly. With full data, the trades that you are taking, again, you can track everything in there. The trades that you are taking today, on the day, they are there. Everything is accumulated, the data is there. And then these are the 2 main points as well. Okay, the profit efficiency and the outcome efficacy, aside from the habit progress as well in there. Again, I'm going to do a full session to explain how to use it and the benefits of using it. And yeah, hopefully I can help a few of you guys to start getting to the habit of journaling, because journaling is the #1 thing that's going to help you to improve in your trading in here. So yep. It has a trading view integrated, which you can kind of use the chart straight away as well. So you can embed some stuff in here on trading view. So I did that. Like if you need to do some quick analysis, you can do that, can change assets. You have the journal as well, and you can even have some watch list as well of maybe what you're looking for on the FX, stocks, and crypto. Okay, yeah, so you can have that playing on in here. Or if you want to customize, you can customize a little bit of the assets that you have in here and kind of include yourself what you want. Yeah, so you can, again, this is just a quick analysis. Like what you can do mostly is just to copy, like take a screenshot or kind of copy, and then you can add it in here, right? So that's the point. Like you can embed the link and just copy whatever picture. Like the main point is to have a chart in here when you're looking at your trade in there. But yeah, like the main point, again, after you take a few trades, I will demonstrate a little bit, is to see where is your weakest point in your trading and maybe where you are the strongest point in here. It's going to be good. And yeah, I'm finally going to start using myself as well. I finally finish it and I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward for it. Yeah, for example, if I was about to ask you, basically I'm separating the trade into 7 phases. Like I'm looking at analysis, analysis, higher time frame analysis, approach, execution, stop loss, target, trend management, and mindset. Okay, and the idea is to grade between either +1, -1, or a 0 if it is neutral, but to grade it. Like, and to identify also if it is a mistake or not, but that's another aspect of it. Like, and then you can give it a reason. Like again, this is totally customizable, whatever reason you want to give it, in order to be a positive or a negative. And the main point then is to, as you can see, it's going to sum up the numbers, and you're going to realize maybe, okay, maybe execution is the one that is the worst for me. Like after, when you do your analysis on a monthly basis or kind of review your performance, you're going to be able to see which one of these aspects is the worst. So for some people, maybe higher time frame analysis, they're still not doing it. They still lack on that aspect of their trading. Where they're taking trades is usually incorrect, or price every week does what they're expecting from. So that's going to be maybe higher time frame analysis, and they need to work on it. And then it's to think about the solution, how to work at it. But at least you start identifying what's the weakest point on your trading. Many people just think about it, kind of they are biased. They may have selective memory in here. They are not really sure which aspect of their trading is actually the worst. And then you can and to see, then you're going to filter out. Okay, you're going to filter by which aspect it is the worst, and you actually have the P&L next to it to see what is actually, how much you are actually losing out or missing or losing by doing this mistake repetitively. Okay, and then you can actually identify a reason, and if the reason starts to be too obvious, now you know what you need to work on. Okay, and that's the goal. And then on a daily basis, the goal is to work on that specific skill. Give it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Our focus is to work on that specific aspect, to find solutions for it. Okay, the solutions part, it's a little bit down to the trader. There's going to be an opportunity for us to work together as well by having access to the journal. So I'm going to be able to help in that aspect. But yeah, but at least you know what your weak point is in your trading. In addition to that, this is not the only thing that you are tracking. Actually, the sum up of these numbers is actually going to end up into this performance. Okay, this is going to be the performance number in here. Efficiency is going to be 0 to 100%, and your target from now on is actually to focus on improving this metric and not P&L. Okay, and then the outcome as well. Okay, and the outcome is also to see what's the potential best scenario of your strategy, of your performance, and compare with comparing where you are and what you could be, like what you should be if you have done everything correctly. No mistakes, no mistrades. Where are you? Like maybe you are at 50%, at 60%, 30%, who knows? Like, and the goal is to go again growing incrementally, try to improve week by week in that aspect. So that's an opportunity also to track that as well in there. But I will do a full presentation. I'll explain it and when the time is right. And yeah, so I'm really excited to start using it in here. And yeah, that's just a quick view. Yeah, we'll see. And I also added the option to track different trading accounts. It's not just one. That took me a little bit of more time to do it, but for anyone that is into pop firms and stuff, yeah, you can track more than just one account, which is nice as well. In there, perfect. With that being said, guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and yeah, have a great beginning of April. I hope you guys have written down your goals for the second quarter, and yeah, let's work to achieve them. Thank you. Have a great evening. I'll see you next week for sure, and hopefully I'll start already with sharing some videos in between throughout the week. Thank you. Bye-bye.